Sure. I think we should start our session because it's already running out of time. So, shall we start our session? So, we have informed that the session will start at 7 p.m. Now it's already 7:06. So, I think it's better we start our session. Okay, yes, I believe this PowerPoint, this presentation is visible to you, and I'm audible to you. Kindly confirm.
Yes, sir. It is clear, and your voice is clear as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Kausi. Okay, today's session is all about how we can grow our business with platform models. So basically, please keep it in mind that this session is maximum of 75 minutes, and this topic itself is a big and a small course itself, the platform business models. Especially, you probably know that since you all are basically from management backgrounds. So I'm trying to make it short. So all the sessions, all the 5 sessions in this series are something like we are trying to make it contents without compromising much on the concepts that included in that session. So more or less, this will act like a triggering sessions for you, almost like workshops or a small triggering sessions for you to create some sort of awareness about this particular concept. And later, if you are very much interested on these topics, you can either do your exploration or yourself or try to gather more information, or if needed, you can get in touch with me also or with IIBM. Everything, all those efforts to gather information are always welcome. Okay. One thing, especially those who have missed the previous sessions, one thing what I want to tell you is I'm Dr. Anup Matthew, and basically I'm mentoring a few startup missions as well as that some are included. That's a government-sponsored startup mission programs, and a few startups also are mentoring. And the series, this 5-lecture series, is basically meant for how you can commence your startups or some entrepreneurial skills for you. Okay, not just like a theoretical aspect of the concepts. Okay, more or less theory that you can explore more from many sources that I'm leaving that to you. Okay, so this is more or less like a straightforward equipment classes for you to get know-how about the concepts, or how well you can get equipped with these concepts to enhance your entrepreneurial skills. So today's topic is all about how we can grow our business by using the platform models. Okay. So first we shall have a look on what is a platform model of business. Okay. So I believe most of you are familiar with the platform model of business. So basically a platform business model that creates value by facilitating exchanges between 2 or more interdependent groups, usually consumers and producers. The definition may look like a bit confusing or a bit complex, but still you'll get a better know-how about these things when we take some example. I'll tell you which one is a platform business. I'll tell you the simple platform business that you can find it in Swiggy or Uber or even Amazon. These are our platform business. You can take that for example. But when you dig into that, you can find that Swiggy or Uber or Amazon. Though all these 3 are platform business, all these 3 differs with one characteristics or another. Anyway, that would be is beyond the scope of this discussion, so I'm leaving that. And so we take, for example, in the case of Amazon. Okay, so just correlate that with the definition. So it says that a platform is a business model that creates value. That should create a value for whom? It should create value to all the stakeholders. In the case of Amazon, who all are the stakeholders? One is the buyers or consumers. Second one is the producers. Third one is the seller. Fourth one is the platform itself, and it may not be a majority stakeholder, but need not be a very much significant stakeholder, but one more stakeholder present there, that is the wholesale purchasers. In Amazon, you might have seen a few things like, okay, buy with the GST bills. What does it mean? If you are a reseller, you can contact the seller or a producer that's listed in the Amazon and buy that in bulk. You have the option to buy in bulk in Amazon. Okay, and the seller will give you the GST invoice. Okay, so these five are the main stakeholders. That's a buyer, seller, producer, Amazon platform itself, or the company called Amazon, and the less significant, though we are just listing that for the sake of ourselves, that's a wholesale buyers. Okay, so all these people should get some value out of this so-called platform called Amazon. Okay, and facilitating exchanges between these interdependent groups. So all these five people are interdependent, right? All these five people are interdependent. Okay, because Amazon itself, they are interdependent. They are dependent on other stakeholders. Buyer, he is also dependent, because, for example, if some exclusive listings are there in Amazon, like some what to say newly released mobile phones or any of these gadgets, or some exclusive rights for the Amazons, like what to say, I think some seller like Cloud or something like that, Cloudtail or something like that. So the seller will be compelled to buy that particular product from that platform itself. So he is also dependent. And seller, obviously, if you want to sell something, he is using it. So everyone are correlated, everyone are interdependent. So this entire system to bring all the stakeholders together on a platform is called the platform model of business. It need not be an online business model. It can be an offline also. In the olden days, conventional marketplace. What do you think about it? Okay, conventional marketplace, irrespective of the country, whether you are in the Americas or in Africa or in Asia or in India, everywhere, you might have seen conventional marketplaces. In conventional marketplaces, what exactly happens? The seller will come to that particular physical place with the products, and the buyer also will come there, seller also will come there with the products. Okay, seller will bring his products over that particular physical space, and buyer will come over there on a specific time. Okay, and based on certain parameters, certain considerations between the buyer and seller, they will get into an agreement on prices, and the deal will be closed. That's exactly happens in a marketplace. This is what exactly happening in a marketplace, whether that's online or offline. Okay, so that's called the platform. Okay, it can be online or it can be offline. So a lot of people generally okay, I think Fauzi asked who is the fourth one. So first one is a seller, second one is first one is the obviously the seller, second one is the producer, third one is the buyer, fourth one is the Amazon company itself, and the fifth one is the wholesale buyer. Okay, so wholesale buyer, he will buy from Amazon at an wholesale price and sell at a retail price. Okay, Amazon, why we call Amazon itself as an interdependent player? because Amazon is a company. Their product is the Amazon seller space. Okay, so Amazon is also looking for that particular platform, because Amazon need to generate revenue from that particular platform, right? Okay, so Fauzi, is that clear to you?
Yes, sure. Everything is clear except the fifth partner.
Okay. Fifth, did you get it now?
What is the fifth partner? Can you give another example? What does it mean, this, what you mentioned, the fifth partner?
Yeah, fifth one. First one is a seller, buyer, producer, and Amazon. And fifth one is the wholesale buyer.
What is this?
So wholesale buyer means what exactly happens in Amazon in many countries, even including in India. Amazon have the option for purchasing that at a wholesale price. Wholesale price means he can purchase, the wholesale buyer can purchase at a wholesale price. The rate, for example, if you are trying to purchase a fountain pen from a seller, the retail price of that particular fountain pen may be 50 rupees per piece. But if you say that I am a wholesale buyer, I need 1000 pen. In that case, you need not buy at a rate of 50 rupees per piece. The seller also, since there arise a demand for higher, there arise a higher demand, or that the volume of the sales will be on the higher side, the seller may be able to negotiate that for 40 rupees per piece. So obviously the wholesale buyer can negotiate and get at a better price. But on the other hand, the thing is, the wholesale buyer is not the consumer. He buys the commodity in larger volume and sell, maybe online or offline, to the consumers, that the end users. So he take that for 40 rupee and sell that for 50 rupee, 25% of profit. So that's the fifth stakeholder. That's a wholesale buyer. He will buy in bulk and sell as a retail seller. Okay. So is that clear?
Yes, now it's clear. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay. So the second one, a majority of the people, they have nowadays, the new generation people, they have a perception that the platform business is just meant for online people, or a mobile app or a website, because they have seen only that kind of business, an aggregator business like Swiggy or Zomato or Uber or Amazon or any of these businesses. But you need not think like that. It's not a piece of software or a mobile app or anything, but instead it is the business model, not the product we are talking. It is the business model of that particular sales model, not the product. For example, you need not quote as Amazon app as the platform. Amazon app is not the platform. The business model of Amazon is the platform model of that business, not Amazon app or a Flipkart app or anything. It's not the product. We are not talking about the product. So what exactly the business model? The platform business model. Okay, the Amazon business model, they are giving incentives for the seller. They are offering incentives for the buyer. They fulfills the buyer requirements as well as seller requirements by giving certain trust to the buyer as well as the seller. Trust means at least a minimum level of trust that if the buyer, when buyer pays the money upfront, he will get the product. That's the trust. And for the seller has a trust that once he dispatches the product, Amazon will give the guarantee that the money will be given to him. So that is the business model, which Amazon app is just a component of platform model business. So never think that, never get confused with the tools of a business model as well as the platform model. Okay. And this is what the symbolic representation of the platform business model. We have the producer and a consumer. In between, in the platform, you can find a lot of other people, including, in the case of Amazon, example, if you take, producer will be there. In the platform itself, sometimes seller will be included. Amazon app will be there. That means the IT infrastructure, that will be included. And consumer will be there. Sometimes, apart from consumer, you can find a wholesale buyer also, as we have discussed earlier, who are purchasing in bulk. That also will be there. So all those things. This is the basic model of platform business. And what's the exact platform business scenario that exists now? So almost 60% of the today's billion-dollar unicorn startups are platform businesses. You need not think that all these businesses are SaaS business, software as a service. No. If we think in that way, we will miss the actual essence of the platform business. Okay. You need not think that that's the platform. No, it's not like that. 60% of the people, they are coming as a unicorn or bigger startups that comes into play are involved with the platform business, mainly because of the fact that the digital penetration or the internet penetration nowadays across the globe is very high. Even in the interior of African villages or even the interiors of rural Asian countries, even including India or in Sri Lanka or any of the SAARC countries, the internet penetration is very high. So they could be able to scale up their business without much precedence. Okay. So in Asia, almost 31 out of 36 unicorns are platform business, or that's contribute almost 86%. And when it comes to India, 8 of 9 are platform business. So in Asia as well as in India, what feature you can find these are the two, especially in Asia or in the case of India. In the past one decade, what exactly happens is the internet penetration has been increased or it has been quadrupled, and obviously that has become cost effective also. This made the things much easier. So the scaling up of the things has been increased. For example, you can just take the number of customers, the number of users of Amazon in India. What was the number 10 years back? Now what's the number? You can take that example itself. You'll be amused to see the rise in numbers. That has been increased exponentially. That's the main reason why any of these SaaS platform type business online, all those business that reaps a lot of money, and anyway, obviously when you say it's a unicorn, you can find that the revenue has been generating enormously. And obviously platform business also, most of the funding is being raised by these kind of online unicorn startups. Okay, so these are the numbers. I've seen total statistics, the shaded part, that line shaded part, that's platform businesses, the total unicorn 126. Among that, across the world, you can find almost 57.9, almost 60 is a platform business. And when it comes to India, you can find 88.9% is platform business. This is the power of platform business, and this is where people, especially younger generation, new age entrepreneurs, finding the value in business. They find it as that's the main reason why you can find a lot of millionaires nowadays. They are starting a new startup, finding the funds for that, infusing the funds, going into public. They are listing in New York Stock Exchange. They're getting millionaires or even billionaires nowadays. Okay, don't think that all those people belongs to some big business house family. Not like that. They were all average. They were all from average economic or middle class families, but still they could able to start a new company, especially that's an online platform business, and they find some seed fundings as well as some venture capitalist fundings, Series A, B fundings, and after that they went for public online listings. Some companies like Freshworks, they have listed there in the US New York Stock Exchange. Now they have become millionaire, Mr. Ramu Budha or someone like that. You can just when you have time, you can just go through the story of Freshworks. That will be very inspiring. So this is the case of new age entrepreneurship. Okay. And let's have a quick look on the 4 steps of core transaction. So core transaction is the basic or heart of any platform business. So as we told that the consumers and producers are the 2 main stakeholders of any platform business. So the 4 steps is, one is to create and one is to consume. So producers create either a service or a product or whatever it is, and consumer consumes it. Okay. For example, if you are a textile manufacturer, if you are just making shirts, okay, and you are selling that through some online platform, the consumer will buy it. So in between, what all things should happen? One thing is the producer need to be connected with the consumer. There should be a visibility, right? Not enough that for the sake of understanding, ease of understanding. So you can take the example of Amazon. Assume that you are a shirt, this kind of shirt manufacturer. Okay, you are making shirts and you plan to list that in Amazon. Okay, you can register as a Amazon seller and list it. Is that over? No. Because the consumer or the buyer will come to Amazon and search for shirts. When it comes for shirt, to say he's looking for, this is a polyester shirt. He's just searching for polyester shirt. Your shirt listing should be visible to him, right? Then only he can able to buy that. So your product should be connected with the consumer. So that responsibility is that of the platform. So the Amazon platform do so. Okay. Your product will be connected to the consumer. Okay. And after that, what should happen? After that, once the transaction is over, that means your product has been visible to the consumer. If consumer is impressed with that, is convinced with that particular product or service, he will pay. And when he pays, the platform will take the compensation or the payment, and that payment will be returned to the creator or the producer. So these 4 things should take place on a platform, or any platform should have the facility to do so. So platform business is basically a facilitator business. So that's the main reason we say platform business should be able to scale in large, not in a lower sense. If you are running a grocery shop in your neighborhood, your profit margins may be 20 to 25%. That's sufficiently enough for you. You need not scale up. If you can sell 1 lakh rupees sales, obviously 25,000 rupees will be your profit. That may be sufficiently enough. But in the case of platform, it's not like that. The margins per sale need not be that high, because there are certain limits to take the convenience charge or a seller listing fee or any such things. Because unless and until you find a trade-off between the seller listing fee, the seller need not feel that your platform is impressive or attractive. Similar case that for the buyer also. Unless and until buyer feels that there is a certain considerable discount for the products that listed in your platform when compared to the offline shops, the buyer need not be convinced with that particular platform. He will directly go to any shop and purchase that. That also happens. Else, the buyer should feel that this particular product is not available there in the offline. That may not be happen always. Okay. So these are the 4 steps in core transaction of any platform business. Okay, I hope you got the point. Okay, so it's so creator produces, and that particular thing has been connected with the consumer end user, and end user purchase it and compensate for the creator's product in terms of monetary compensation, and that monetary compensation reach the creator. Again, that cycle completes. So this non-shaded portion, including compensate and connect, that is being provided, facilitates by the platform. So the 4 functions of platform business model. Okay, yes, Fauzi. Yes, Fauzi.
Yes, sir. I would like to go for the 4 steps. The 4 steps is, what is the first step? What is the last step?
Okay, previous one, right? Okay. Okay, this is all right.
Yes, sir. Okay. What is the first step here?
Yeah. So basically, this compensate and connect. These 2 features are basically with the platform. And this create means that's a producer side, or to say that's a, for simplicity, you can say that's a seller side. And consumer side, that's a consumer. So the producer or the creator or the seller, you can call as per your convenience, and he will give a list of his offerings. It may be service, or it may be a product, or whatever it is, product or service. He gives that list to the platform. On the platform, it will be listed. And the consumer comes to that platform. When the consumer comes to that platform, the platform should be able to return some queries for his, return some results for his queries. For example, if consumer asks that I need some shirt, I need a white color shirt. So the platform should be able to give some results for that. That means the results means the platform should be able to give a list of white color shirt sellers and with the size, and he can go through that list. If with some white color shirt, if he is convinced enough, he can select it and buy it. That is what the consume stage happens. Okay, and after that, how he can consume that product or service? He can pay the bills. That means he can compensate it with the monetary terms. Pay the money, and that money will be collected by the platform. To say in the case of Amazon, Amazon will take the money. Okay, and Amazon, just like an escrow account, Amazon will keep that money with them. And this money, once the product has been reached the consumer, Amazon disperse or release that compensation to the creator or to the producer or to the seller. Okay, the right hand side is the seller side and left hand side is the buyer side. Okay, in between, that's a mediator side. The platform acts like a mediator side. This is what exactly happens. Okay, so is that clear to you, Fauzi?
Very clear, very clear. Thank you.
Okay,
good, good.
So the 4 functions of any platform, it's a general one. Any platform business model is: one is audience building, second one is matchmaking, fourth one is providing core tools and services, third one is providing core tools and services, fourth one is setting rules and standards. These are the key functions of any platform business. Okay, let's have a look on that. Okay, so here, what exactly happens? Assume that you are an entrepreneur and you have created a platform much similar to that of Amazon. That means any seller can come to your platform and sell anything. What's the first thing you have to be there in that particular platform? First thing you should do is you should be able to board a few sellers, right? Without seller, though the buyer comes over there also, that won't be a sustainable thing. If the buyer comes over there and he couldn't find any products, what's the need of coming to that particular platform? So the first thing is you have to build your audience, all your stakeholders. The first step is you have to find a few sellers. If you can't able to list some of your products, that's the first thing. So for that, what you can do? Okay. So for that, what you can do? You can go for mass advertisements. You have to do some economic viability studies for that. Mass advertisements, you can go for that. You can offer incentives, just like sell for 1,000 rupees and 10%, the additional 10% incentives will be provided for the seller. That way, initially we can do. So that way, more and more sellers will be interested to get it listed on your platform. And second one is for the seller and buyer side matchmaking. This is where exactly happens when a query comes. The previous example itself. If the buyer asks for a white shirt, what exactly the seller need to do? Sorry, the platform need to do. The platform need to search for the white shirts in the database and list those things based on certain relevance levels. White shirt, some cases, for example, that's where actually artificial intelligence engines comes into play. For example, some shirt, you just take the example of this shirt. So you can find that some white checks on this. When I list this shirt also in some platform, I may give some details like white checks and violet checks. Description may goes like that. So if you just run a linear query, what happens? If your platform runs a linear query, what happens? Platform will pick up that word only. White. This is a shirt. The product itself is classified as a shirt, and white is there. Color is white. Okay. This also will be listed. But when someone actually search for something, white shirt means 99% of the people, they are looking for a plain white shirt. So as per the relevance level, the platform should be able to do some matchmaking with the buyer query as well as the seller listing. This is what matchmaking takes place. There only actually some higher end, hardcore artificial intelligence engines being used by many online seller platforms. For that, they can use certain tools and services. Tools and service need not say that everything is just payment related. Payment related can be there. Logistics related can be there. Even separate refund related things also may be there. And even redundant and query resolution things also may be there. Payment related, tools and service, payment related. So after matchmaking, what we have to do? We should be able to do the payment. The buyer should be able to do the payment, right? For that, some payment gateway should be there. That's another tool. For example, if the payment has been done, but the buyer didn't get any confirmation, what's the case? There should be a follow-up mechanism. Automatically, some mail should be generated, or at least the client, the buyer should get some sort of confirmation, something like your order is under process, just like Amazon does. And within an hour or so, we will confirm your order. Within an hour or so, the platform should be able to fetch the bank details of the platform and make sure that whether that particular transaction, money from that particular transaction has been credited or not. If not, if it's not credited, what the platform need to do? Platform can give an alert to the buyer, says that your payment has been declined or failed. Either you can do an alternate payment, or you can try the payment method, or you can cancel the order. It stands cancelled. All those things, all those services comes under the tools and services. And what about the rules and standards? There should have certain rules, right? Rules like, for example, in the case of Amazon seller, there are certain rules like a majority of the product should be shipped or dispatched within 48 hours. Okay, that's the rule. And what about the standards? Standards may be the standards may be much related to the product standards. That means the product should have a certain quality, and it may be related to the logistics standards. For example, any of the logistics partner, they should be able to deliver within 5 days pan-India. That may be a standard that can set along with these products. So all those things should be monitored by the platform. If that's an online platform, that should be done by online by using some tools or services. Okay. So the rules and standards also need to be adhered on the platform. Okay. So tools service, matchmaking, rules and standards, audience building. These are the main 4 functions of any platform. So you need not think that all these things are just meant for what to say, online shopping sites. No, a lot of platforms are there. Just like some service marketplaces are there. Some online platforms, they are offering some service. Some service means some websites you can find that chartered accountant service. All the chartered accountants are being listed. From that, you can select one chartered accountant for your service based on your locality. If you prefer a chartered accountant that can able to speak your language, that also it's possible. The chartered accountants offering is a service, not a product. Product marketplace, a physical product, just like Amazon. That also a platform business. Payment platform, B2B and B2C platform, B2B or business to customer payment platforms like the Razorpay or even PayPal. That also, they are also aggregating. But the difference is in payment platforms, the difference is they are not boarding the customers online. Instead of that, they are mainly boarding the business online. For example, if you are running a business, or if you are, for example, if you are starting a new online shopping portal, anyway, you need to integrate a payment gateway, right? So that payment, you are actually, your platform is being onboarded to the payment platform. That is exactly happens. So the payment on the payment platform, you are acts basically like your platform acts basically like a seller. And on the other end of the payment gateway is your buyers. They will do the payments through this payment gateway. So here, the payment platform acts like another platform or intermediary between an online marketplace and a buyer. Other thing is the investment platforms. Investment platforms means like some platforms like the Bank Bazaar, Policy Bazaar, all those things. Okay. Yes, Fauzi.
Yes, sir. Regarding the payment platform or the intermediate platform, okay, assume there is a supplier and there is a buyer. In between, there is a transportation platform. So we consider this, it's the third platform in between as an intermediate platform.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. Some disturbances were there in between. The first part of one that I'm not able to hear. Can you repeat it?
Intermediate platform.
Yeah.
Okay, can we consider the transportation company is considered as an intermediate platform? if we're going to charge the transportation or delivery part of the goods and the receiver?
Yeah, exactly. If that's a transportation company, you can consider that as a, if you are going for a full-fledged what to say, transportation solution. For example, you can do a transportation company just like if you are an owner of a couple of trucks. With that trucks itself, you can run a transportation business. In that case, you can't say that you are running a platform business. On the other hand, if you are providing a platform, a software platform for the truck drivers of that particular area or that particular jurisdiction, to say, of that particular country, they can list the trucks on that particular platform. And the consumers, consumer means who are the consumers of these trucks? That means the people who want to transport goods from one location to another. They can search the trucks on that platform, just like what the Uber do, Uber taxi does. The consumer basically search for a taxi to go from one location to another. So in that case, you can consider that transportation business as a platform. But if you are doing some ad hoc transportation businesses with a certain number of individual things, in that case, you can consider that as a platform itself. So one feature of a platform is that should be able to scale rapidly. It should be able to scale up. Scalability should be there. In the case of Uber, scalability is very high. The very same platform of Uber can be used in India. The very same platform can be used for in Netherlands, can be used for in Dubai, or there can be any of the Africa or in the Americas they can use. The scalability is very quick. Once you finish the legal complexities of that particular country, just launch and just increase the bandwidth. That's all. Within no time, it will scale up. That's the one feature of any platform business. So if you feel any business that it's not easy to scale up, we can't theoretically call that as a platform. But on the former case, we can call that as an intermediate platform. Okay. No doubt about it. So you'll get a better understanding when we talk about these social networks. I think socially you are familiar with social networks like Facebook or Twitter or any such platforms. So what exactly can we think that these kind of social network platforms as a social network websites as a platform? Okay, is that a platform business? Basically, as per the straightforward definition, we can't consider that as a platform business because there is nothing called a buyer or a seller or a service acceptor or a service provider there. Instead of that, a few people are coming together and interacting with each other. But how we are defining the social networks also as a platform? Because a lot of people of different interests coming together on the social platform and interacting with each other. During that interaction, the social networks, third-party elements, they can make revenue out of that. Who is the stakeholder? Stakeholders are, one is the users of that particular social network. Second one is the platform company. That means in the case of Facebook, Meta is the platform company. Facebook is the platform. And the third stakeholder is the advertising companies. Okay, maybe Meta has some dedicated advertising aggregator things also will be there. So what Meta is doing in the Facebook is, Meta is providing a platform called Facebook, and they are calling all the customers over there and they are putting forward the advertisements in front of their customers, and they are getting money out of the advertisers. It's almost similar to if you are a what to say convention hall owner. What you are doing is you are giving an advertisement, or you are calling a few people, 100 people you are calling, and calling, you say, okay, you please come to my convention hall on a Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. We all can, you can meet a lot of new people, doctors, engineers, business people, all those people are there. You please come at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11, we have a gathering over there. It's almost like a meetup. And we can all meet together. We can have tea, coffee, and chit chat, can have a jovial good time. And what you are doing is you are just finding some advertisers and asking the advertisers. What you can do is you put your hoardings and your advertising boards everywhere on this hall. 100 people are coming. Most prospective 100 people are coming. Most probably you may get some sales out of that. You just give some money to me. Okay. But people are coming over there, gathering, and if you are giving some snacks or tea, everything are. So you are not getting revenue out of the people coming over there. Instead, you are getting revenue from the third party, who is an indirect stakeholder. The advertisers can't be considered as a direct stakeholder. They are indirect stakeholders. They are coming over there and they are displaying their hoardings or flex or whatever it is. So that's also called as a platform. Okay, that's an indirect mode of yielding revenue from the platforms. Other thing is communication platforms like direct social communication platforms like Telegram or WhatsApp. Development platforms like GitHub, that's software development platforms. Content platforms like YouTube. YouTube is not obviously YouTube is producing, but still we are not giving much consideration for YouTube's videos. But majority of the time, majority 99.9999% of the content in YouTube are third-party contents. So YouTube is just giving a platform, giving the server space to host the content creators, content over there, videos over there, and viewers are coming and watching that. In between, they are just giving some subscription, paid subscription, or they are running the ad, getting the revenue. Social gaming platforms. Hope you are familiar with that. Some online gaming companies are also there. There also, if you are a game developer, you can develop a game and you can host there. Since that platform is popular, whatever game you host there, you can find a lot of users over. Just like in the case of Amazon. Amazon is a very popular online marketplace. So if you are a seller, it's very easy for you to sell on Amazon rather than you start a new platform and start selling over. Just like that, social gaming platforms are also in place. These are the types of platforms generally you can find online. So what are the advantage of general platform business? One is the scalability, as I told you. It should be easily scalable. Generally, it's very easy to scale. Scale from one geographical location to another geographical location. Maximally, you may need to increase your hardware IT infrastructure, like increase your bandwidth, increase your servers, that's all. But it will be very easy for you to scale it up. Other thing is, it will be very economical in nature. For example, how much money the Uber need to invest more if they are starting their operations there in Pakistan? If they don't have hardly a few millions on, need not like setting up a new business. Okay, so it's basically it's economical also. Okay, so the larger business, larger volume of business, and larger revenues. That's what basically platform business revenue models. It generally built a reciprocal, self-sufficient community. So once you onboard the sellers, again, we can just for the sake of simplicity, we can take the example of Amazon. Once you onboard your sellers, to say 1 lakh sellers you have onboarded, and the number of Amazon users in India, to say that's 10 million. That means that's a closed community, literally, and you made that self-sufficient community for your business. You need not bother much about it. Already you have 1 crore, 10 million customers, and 1 million sellers are. With that itself, you can make decent revenues. It's not that much dynamic in nature. Almost all the platform businesses, that's not dynamic. The revenue anticipation, revenue generation itself is somewhat predictable, but that won't go up much, that won't go down much. So generally, because of these things, these platform businesses that solve the connection and the efficiency issues. So what's meant by this connection and efficiency issues? The one thing is how a seller can find a buyer. That is the prime most problem, challenge, hurdle faced by any seller across the globe. But here, when it comes to a platform, that thing will be resolved to a very great extent because already users are there for that platform. When a new seller comes also, it will be a cakewalk for them to utilize that particular platform and get connected with the buyers. Okay, it's one of the main advantages of platform business. So when it comes to startups, if you are an entrepreneur, how, when, from where you have to start? If you are planning to start a platform business, first thing you have to ask yourself is, are you planning to start an online or offline platform? Don't worry about thinking about an offline platform. Even still, you can find a lot of offline platforms are there in bigger cities. People from nearby places, handicrafts, or even organic vegetables, they are bringing to that particular platform, particular room, or a bigger, small stalls. And maybe weekly 2 or 3 days only, they will list there, and sellers also will cover. Sellers comes there, and buyers also will come there, and transaction takes place. That's there. Though that's not an easy affair, and scalability is somewhat limited. Still, that's an option. So first you have to decide what platform you are planning, whether it's online or offline. 99% of the time, everyone prefer online because of the ease of scalability. And you have to do some market research on the maximum number of platforms coexistence. What does it mean? You please keep one thing in your mind, that you need not think that all the platforms that comes into the scenario will exist there and that will be much profitable in nature. For example, take the case of India itself. Ideally, various research shows that there is no scope for more than 2 food aggregators space in India. To tell the fact, experience proved so also. For example, now we have Swiggy as well as Zomato is there. Previously, we had Food Panda, Swiggy, Uber Eats, and a lot other small food aggregators were. But unfortunately, either all those smaller companies was being acquired by these bigger Swiggy or Zomato, or eventually, just like a Uber Eats, they stopped their operation because that was not economical, or they couldn't be able to generate decent revenues. Okay, so the maximum number of similar platforms coexistence on a particular space, that also you have to do some research. After that only you have to jump into the conclusion. So first you decide on which domain you are planning to work on. Once you decide, you please do some research on the maximum number of platforms.
Yes, sir.
Maximum number of platforms that you can coexist. Okay. So the next question is, can I attract a large group of users at once? What does it mean? Whether your business model has some USPs, unique selling points, can you attract some people towards it? These are the main questions. If you make a platform and hardly any users come and register over that, what's the use of that? You need not think that it's almost like a grocery shop. In a grocery shop, gradually it will pick up. But in an online platform, what we are expecting is, in the initial period, there should be a higher push for to downloading the app, to avail that facility. That should be there. That makes a lot of difference. So the question is very clear. Can this particular platform, can this particular platform's features can attract more buyers and more sellers? If your answer is yes, go forward. And what about the privacy you offer? This is one of the key things that you have to think of. For example, why it's very important. In the case of Swiggy or Zomato, that's a food delivery app. Just imagine you are registering as a user in Swiggy, and you are ordering a pizza from a local pizza delivery. If your phone number, in the case of Swiggy or Zomato, if you are coming near to your home and making a call to you, if Swiggy or Zomato is giving your personal phone number to the delivery boy, will you be entertained with that process or policy? Because the delivery boy obviously is not the part of Swiggy or Zomato. He's an individual. Will you be entertained giving your personal contact number to someone else? That's the main reason why you can find, whenever the delivery boy makes a call to your mobile number, you can find that that number is originating from the Swiggy's or Zomato's centralized server numbers. Even the delivery boy also unable to see your number. He has only the option to call. Once he calls, automatically that will be redirected. That will be the phone number, your phone number that was stored in the server, that will be fetched and make a call. So the delivery boy won't see your number, nor you can see the delivery boy's contact number. That's a privacy. So what type of privacy you are planning to offer? As per, depends on the country you are operating, that also you have to take it into consideration. In some cases, if you feel that you can't offer a lot of privacy, but if the country demands a lot of privacy policies, in that case, sometimes that business idea, though that's very convincing to you also, you may end up in dropping that. Next, you have to identify the gaps. Where exactly the gap exists? One classic example I will tell you, one business model. Some of you might have heard about Byju's learning app. Okay. So I think Byju started almost 7 to 8 years back. That time, no one was willing to even digest the concept that the students can acquire knowledge through smartphones. Even parents couldn't actually digest that concept. No, mobile phones, that's not meant to give that to students. Students will get spoiled. But that time, why you identified that? Anyway, none of the parents can prevent their students or refrain the students from accessing mobile phones, whether the parents admit it or not, they will ultimately access the mobile phones. So at least for the sake of parents' peace of mind, if we can provide a product that can at least give on the namesake some sort of education content, at least the parents will be happy to have that. That's what actually Baiju identified the gap. No one were able to think of it. Even big edtech companies were there in the market that time, including Macmillan, Oxford, Next Education, or Extramark, everywhere there. But no one could be able to even think of that. That was the case. Okay, so that's the intelligent way of identifying the gaps. Someone was missing over there. You have to do some intelligent work to identify that gap. Once you identify that gap, I assure you, you can click on that. You need not look back. Within 4 to 5 years, obviously, you'll become a millionaire. The new generation platform business, that's the nature. In the olden days, when you start a business, that will take a longer time to get established. But new generation, it's not like that. Think of Byju's itself or Freshworks. Less than 10 years, they could be able to list in certain stock exchanges, even billions of dollars revenue everywhere. Okay. So identify the gaps, that's one of the most important things. And the final one, that's the one is research on technical, financial, and return on investment viability. These three things. Why I'm telling this is some cases, I'll tell you, almost 10 years back, or not exactly 10 years, almost in 2013, so almost 8 years. Sorry. Yeah, so almost 10 years, 9 years back. 9 years back, one youngster came to me and asked about an ERP software, a sophisticated ERP software. You know about the ERP software, right? Entrepreneurship. There's a school management, that was a school management software. In that software, that was a cloud-based ERP software, internet-based. Obviously, that was good. That offers a solution for schools. School teachers can take that, and that time the app things were not that much popular. On the laptop itself, they can access that and they can insert the attendance of the students, per hour attendance, and the fee, school bus fee, all of the things were they can able to manage. In that, what was his proposal was, in this ERP software, he can be able to integrate the students' RFID and bus tracking, so that the parents can also log into that system and find where exactly the students' bus, if their kids' bus are. Based on that, they can go there and pick up. They can plan their routine based on that. It was very good. RFID was needed, GPS was needed, everything was needed. But unfortunately, he invested a lot of money for that. Technical feasibility has done that, and GPS modules were not that much. That was common, but that was not easily available. Need to import from China. He had to take a lot of licenses for that and import a lot of GPS modules from China, and everything was well set. But unfortunately, what happens is, once everything on board, he started to pitch that in the schools of India. Hardly the cost of the entire system per student per month, that comes nearly 150 rupees. Hardly any schools shown interest on that, because that was a very huge amount. He could be able to reduce that only till 130 rupees, not more than that, because that was his expenditure per student on that. So what exactly happened? The product was good, the gap is identified was good, but unfortunately, the technical and financial viability was not existing there. And you just imagine that. So that's the main case. Sometimes your ideas are good, but that may not be viable financially as well as more technically. And the third one, that ROA, return on investment. So when it comes to this kind of platform or new generation platform, the profit margins, what we are expecting is more than 60%. What does it mean? That means if you are investing, you need not think that you are investing. Maybe you are funding agents. Maybe investing to say 100 million. In that case, if you are only getting as a returns per annum returns is just 2 million. What does it mean? The return on investment is 2%. Just think of, if you just go for the projection also, 5-year projection, that's 5%. From 2%, the revenue, not revenue, the profit has been increased to 5%. Do you think that's a good return on investment? No, because the inflation itself comes nearly 7%. So that's not a good ROE. If the ROE is not, even the projected ROE is not convincing enough for you, that business won't run for long. Though that's an unpleasant thing to hear, but still that's a fact. Okay. So while you start, sorry, while you go for starting a new startup on platform, you please keep these things in your mind. Do research, then only you just jump. You can find a lot of business ideas on the internet, but never jump into that without much consultation, without much research, and without knowing much of the business, core business, much of its core business. You should know the basic nature of the business. And the next one is we have to do is the competitor analysis. What's the need of competitor analysis? Just because of the fact that I told you earlier, the aggregator business case, food aggregator business. Research says that hardly two food aggregator business can coexist here. If already two exist there, why should you take more risk and introducing the third one, unless and until you can offer a very good USP for that. Okay, and moreover, you have to analyze the competitors' balance sheets. Are they profitable, or are they running just because of the funding money or with the parent company's money? Just in the case of Reliance Jio mobile phones, they could able to give 6 months free offer, free of cost call offer, internet offer, because they have a very huge cash surplus parent called Reliance Industries Limited. But other telecom operators can't do so. So thoroughly go through the competitors' balance sheets and decide whether is there any scope for another platform on that particular domain. Other thing is expected margins, expected profit margins, how much it is, that can be read along with the return on investment also. And another thing is about the future funding opportunities and scalability of the business. To tell the fact, new generation platform business cannot sustain without much funding. If you are well enough, if you are fair enough to accommodate a lot of funds, you can fair enough to disperse a lot of funds from your pocket, it's okay, well and fine. But still, then also, it's always good to accommodate more funds to your company, just because of the fact that if you want to scale up the business, obviously you need a lot of money. So, if you need more money, that business should be convincing for the funding agents. They should be convinced with your business model. If your business model looks very dull, if your business model gives some impression that that business will not generate much profits in future, it will be very difficult for you to find a funding agency for your business. So beforehand you start your business, you have to think of that also. And the possibility of copying a model, just like copy and paste, even just like what to say, copy the code of any app. Copy and model, copy a business model. Sometimes that may work out. For example, if you are planning to find some aggregator business for hospitals or insurance, already insurance companies are running. Good, copy paste it. Paisa Bazaar, Bank Bazaar, something like that. If you can accommodate more insurance companies into your platform, well and good. Moreover, if you can reduce the margins, reduce your profit margin, and give a better costs for your customers, good, fine, that will work out. So think of that. That will be the easiest one. And just copy their business model, their platform models. Just take it, rename it by your. Sometimes you may have to embed an offline business to online. That is what exactly happens nowadays during the COVID time. One classic example is in the edutech field, education field. You might have seen a lot of people who are running tuitions, private tuitions, giving tutorial classes for school students and college students. Before COVID time, majority of these tuitions were taking place in an offline mode. That means a tuition center will be there or a tuition teacher will be there in your neighborhood. Students go over there, or sometimes home tuitions will be there, and that all things were in the offline. But when COVID comes, what happens? All these offline things came into online through Google Meet, through Zoom, through WebEx, and even open online schooling also has been taken. Still, some are sustained. Even Byju's also they are offering online entrance coachings. So that's what an online business that completely, not completely, at least 90% of the changed that. Sorry, offline business completely changed that to online mode, and that's viable also. If that's a no, if COVID not didn't come, in that case, people will be very much pessimistic about these online tuitions. But when COVID comes, no other go. So all the parents as well as the students, they have tested and found that is compromisable. That is somewhat convincing. Now it's going on. Now they are just seeing the benefits of that. Similarly, sometimes if you can think of it, some of the offline business, you can convert that to online and make that as a platform. You can think of that also. Okay. So these are the main things. And what I want to tell you is about these all factors, all these 9 factors, you can find the negative part also. For example, competitive analysis, when you do, you'll get a lot of negative things about your business also. Expected margin, that also may be a negative, you may find. Future funding, no scope for any funding, that also may happen. Okay, so these are the negative parts also you can find. That can also, you can list it out when you do a viability study. Okay, so about the hardware, IT infrastructure and all those things, you need not bother much. You have a lot of 101 consultants out there. You need not think that the platform business are just meant for the technocrats people. No. Here you can hire any number of software engineers or technical people for at a cheaper rate, especially in India. The only thing is here the most expensive thing is the business ideas. If you are a 10th standard graduate, if you are a very good business idea, that's the most expensive thing that you can have. So nowadays in India, not in India, everywhere, funds are not an issue. Technology is not an issue. A viable business model is only an issue. That idea does not. Idea is only the thing. So you have to think of that. Okay. So that's all for the day. And happy to answer your queries. If you have any queries, feel free to ask. And you can contact me on the numbers given. So in future also, if you have any other queries. Any queries? Any doubts? If no one has any doubts, we shall wind up the session. Okay, then we shall wind up the session, and thanks for being with me. We shall meet on the next weekend. So till then, bye. Thank you.